Good day, grade 11s. I am your business studies tutor, and today we are going to focus on benefits of establishing a company. Did you know entrepreneurs must comply with certain legal requirements when naming their companies? There are many advantages to establishing a company instead of starting another type of business. However, many entrepreneurs still face challenges when they start their own companies. Now, let's look at the lesson objectives for our lesson. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to distinguish the differences between forms of ownership. You should also be able to discuss the benefits and challenges of establishing a company versus other forms of ownership. And lastly, you should be able to explain the procedure for the formation of companies. Now, let's look at our concept map. The concept map is an overview of what our lesson will cover. We'll first start with the differences between forms of ownership, and then move to benefits and challenges of establishing a company. And lastly, we'll look at the procedure for the formation of companies. Now, let's look at our pre-knowledge. The pre-knowledge is actually the knowledge that you should be knowing by now. You must know the different forms of ownership. You must know how to discuss the characteristics, advantages, and disadvantages of the forms of ownership. Now, let's look at the pre-knowledge practice. Outline the characteristics of a sole trader. One person can form a sole trader. So one person can start this particular business that we call a sole trader or a sole proprietorship. Forming a sole trader is easy. When you want to start a sole trader, it's very easy because there are no legal requirements that you have to follow. You just simply start your business. The profit of the business belongs to the owner, as there is no distinction between the owner and the business. So all profits that are made in a sole trader business, they belong to the owner alone, because there's no separation between the owner and the business. It's only one person who owns a business, so all profits belongs to the owner. Business has unlimited liability, and the private possessions of the owner can be used to pay the debts of the business. So since the business has unlimited liability, remember we said that the owner and the business are inseparable. So whatever debts that the business is having, it simply means that those debts belong to the owner. They can even take the personal possessions of the owner to pay for the debts of the business. Now, let's move on. Another question, discuss the advantages of personal liability company. The Company Act imposes personal liability on directors who are knowingly part of reckless or fraudulent business. So the Company Act, it simply says if the directors of the business, of the personal liability company, made any fraudulent transactions or managed the business recklessly so those debts will not belong to the business, but those directors will be liable to pay those particular debts. The board of a personal liability company must include at least one director or any other minimum number as stipulated in its memorandum of incorporation. So obviously, the board of directors must have a minimum of one director unless it's stipulated otherwise in the memorandum of incorporation of a certain personal liability company. The lifespan of a personal liability company is perpetual, so meaning the continuity of existence of a personal liability company is forever continuing. It's continuous because you can register the business. Now let's look at the new words and language. Continuity, continue to exist even if a change of ownership takes place. For example, if a member or shareholder retires, the business can continue to exist. Then securities, shares and bonds issued by a company. Limited liability, type of legal structure of an organization where the loss of the business will not exceed the amount invested in the business by business owner. And then another term that you will come across throughout the lesson is unlimited liabilities. It's the full legal responsibility that business owners and partners assume for all business debts. Then there's Memorandum of Incorporation, which is abbreviated as MOI. The document sets out the rights, responsibilities, and duties of shareholders and directors. MOI serves as a constitution of a company. Now, let's just go for a quick ad break and we will be back to see what the lesson has for us. Stay tuned.